There was some major news. This is gigantic, and we knew Greg Edwards was gnawing at the bit to have an announcement be made, and yesterday was a huge reveal.
Well, we were kind of poking the bear last Thursday. When we always have Greg Edwards on our program every Thursday morning to talk about great things you can catch in Des Moines. Catch Des Moines, right? We could see something was stirring, but he wouldn't reveal until officially yesterday when Catch Des Moines made it seem like, let's have a little gathering, you know, say thank you for your support and wanting Ironman to come to Des Moines. Oh, but wait a minute, we have an announcement.
Right.
So we have Trina Flack, who is joining us from Catch Des Moines this morning, VP of Sales, but we also have Frank Lowry, who is the Midwest Regional Director of Ironman. But first, let's start with you, Trina. Okay, so we didn't get something,
right,
but that didn't keep us down.
No, Ironman officially announced Tulsa as the winner of their brand new full distance triathlon 12 days ago or 13 days ago now. So our community was crushed. You know, there was a letdown of that. Everyone worked so hard and really wanted Des Moines to be chosen for that. And so, you know, we threw together this party last night and said, we've got news for you. Obviously, we had to be pretty secretive about it leading up to that. So we built it as kind of a thank you to the community, the triathlon community, the business community, everyone, and made an announcement.
Okay, and what is this big announcement? In case we couldn't be there live yesterday, what is the buzz today?
Yeah, so the announcement was yesterday that Ironman is bringing a 70.3 to Des Moines, of which we're super excited. It'll be the certified Piedmontese Ironman Des Moines.
Now, what does that mean for those people that aren't in the business?
So the certified Piedmontese is the title sponsor of the event, and then the North American Championships is a title that is prestigious among our 70.3 events in the North American region. It's got the larger pro fields that show up. It's got the larger prize purse, more slots for the World Championships that travels in different locations around the world. It goes to a new location, and so there'll be 75 spots that are for the 70.3 World Championships in Taupo, which is super exciting. And then in 2021, we've got World Championship spots for the World Championship returning to the U.S. So pretty exciting. Yeah.
So how does this differ from what Tulsa received 2 weeks ago to the announcement that we were making yesterday? For people that aren't familiar with the lingo, so to speak, what is the big difference?
Yeah, so the big difference is in Tulsa they announced that they're bringing in the full distance, which the full distance for an Ironman is 140.6 miles.
Okay.
And in Des Moines, we announced that they're bringing in the 70.3. So half the distance of what the distance, half the race.
Which is going to appeal to a much broader base, too.
100%. Yeah. You've got your athletes that are looking at an opportunity that may have never participated in a triathlon or are looking at Olympic distances and sprints, and now we're trying to make the next step into the 70.3, and it's almost just a forward progress into the next distance that you would accomplish. Maybe not taking on the 140.6, and that comes the year after, but the 70.3 is one that's obtainable by everyone.
Okay, so let's talk about the 70.3 and what is all encompassing in 70.3.
What it means, yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so obviously the 70.3 is a combination of the swim, bike, and run.
Yeah.
That's the distance.
That's the total, that's the three disciplines that are within the 70.3. The total distance for the swim is 1.2 miles. And then the bike portion is 56 miles, and then the total run distance is 13.1. When you tag them all together, 70.3 across the board.
All right, so where are we doing all these things?
Well, in Des Moines. What
venues, so to speak?
Yeah, so we've had a chance to kind of look around the area. Grays Lake is one that is attractive to us for purposes of being able to obtain the full distance of the swim. Waterworks Park as an option for transition. West Des Moines, we're looking at encompassing most of the bike course or a portion of the bike course. And then we'd like to bring everything down to the downtown area for a massive finish right in here, right on Court Avenue.
Wow.
And just finishing it up. So
why Des Moines? You know, we might not have gotten the full kahuna, but we're still getting an incredible event. Why was it decided to come here to Des Moines?
The support is so massive here in Des Moines. It's stretched further than we could have ever imagined. We were talking yesterday, just a group of us, about a new event that we announced in China not just a couple weeks ago, and 90% of the hashtags that were coming through were hashtag Des Moines that was coming in. So the reach from the community, the reach from the triathlon clubs, the reach from just the athletes in telling us what they wanted and what they needed to see really spurred us on just to continue driving the force straight into Des Moines.
Now, is there a limit as to how many people can participate in this event?
Yeah, the limit really is based on what our venues look like, what our size and congestion would look like over the course of the event. Obviously, we take into account the residential impacts and how long the roads are closed. So ideally, for us to start this event off, we're looking at probably about 2,600 athletes.
Wow.
Come in for the first year.
That's a lot.
That's still pretty impressive.
Well, Trina would like to set the record, so she's shooting for 5,000. But it's for us to really make sure that we put on a world-class event and that the athletes get to experience everything about Des Moines and everything about Ironman and what we put on as an event and as a brand. Really, we want to make sure that the showcase coming out is set and ready to go.
And this is happening a little less than a year now.
I did my best to try to get at least a year to build this operationally. Trina's cutting me a couple days short. But yeah, we're about 360 days out from the event next year.
That's already amazing,
yes.
Unbelievable. Okay, so let's talk about from our side of things now in Des Moines. What does this mean, and what is the impact of this going to be next year?
It's huge. Obviously, our triathlon community spoke up and said we want a race in Des Moines, and there's a reason for that. And there's something about people racing in their own community. So there's that local aspect of it. We make our locals happy, which is very key in all of it. From our perspective at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, we want people to come stay in our hotel rooms, and we're talking people are going to come and stay 3 days, and they're going to eat in our restaurants, and they're going to shop in our stores, and they're going to visit our farmers market the Saturday before, and they're going to have an impact on our community. We estimate that to be about $10 million.
Wow.
$10 million impact.
Yeah. So if there's 2,600 athletes that race, they bring 1 to 3 people with them. So think about that from everything that they're doing within our community.
Okay, so we are less than a year away from having this event take place here in Des Moines, and you said it will be a Sunday event?
Yes, it'll be a Sunday, June 21st, 2020.
Okay. We see the website already up there. Is that to get details? Is that to sign up? What can we do if we head to that website now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a priority registration that opens up on July 2nd, and this allows athletes who are participating in our events multiple times a year, and they've achieved this status. So they have priority registration or early registration. And then July 9th, we'll open up general registration to the general public. But in addition to the website, it'll have all the accommodations linked for everything that's here in Des Moines, what will be the proposed course maps and venue areas, so that athletes can really start kind of generating their vacation or their race mind around where they need to be, how they need to get there, and what it looks like from them or for them as an athlete, but what it also does with their family and where they need to go. And so we try to tie in everything that would be iconic and interesting in Des Moines for the spectators, but at the same time, the athletes really need to understand the logistics. So all of it's up on the website.
Now, a couple of questions here about the athletes that want to participate in this. Are there some qualifying events that they have to go through in order to participate in this?
Not for this particular event. The Title North American Championship, again, just allows a more prestigious field to come in. The larger prize purse and additional World Championship spots. It's still open to the general public to get in. I feel like this thing is just going to sell out quickly. So get on your computers and ready to go. But the athletes are just super excited, and like Trina mentioned, they really kind of spoke to us, and for us it was making the next steps together.
Now, for an event like the 70.3, when they first say go, how long of an event is it for an athlete?
Good question.
For those people that have never participated, on average.
100%. Yeah, great question.
On average.
So in a typical time frame for an athlete to finish this 70.3, they have 8.5 hours to finish the entire window. Now,
how much?
8.5 hours.
8.5 hours.
Yeah.
8.5 hours.
Jackie,
is
that
what
means
the
we
cutoff.
can get through the first stage.
I was going to say, I don't think I could do it in 8.5 hours.
Let's kind of circle back, because where the fun part comes in is how fast can somebody really knock this out?
Yeah.
And so the men and women pro, they're amazing. On this course right here, I would expect that the first male pro will be done in 3 hours and 38 minutes, 3:42 range. The first female, maybe under 4 hours at this course. So it's impressive, and the talent that shows up is just, it's amazing. But I use the phrase, you can't judge a book by its cover in the world of triathlons, because when you look at these athletes, they range from 18 to 78 to 80 plus. And then you have your folks who are your talented and genetically gifted athlete. And then all of a sudden you have this one that just wants to finish. And you look and you're like, man, it's amazing. And they're such an inspiration. Most folks turn around and they start training the next year and get out there. So we expect to see the both of you by that time.
I have less than a year.
2021 will be a great time. Listen, on a relay portion, we'll start slow.
I was going to say, is this one of those where you can tag team? Like, okay, I got this portion, go.
Yep. Can somebody swim and somebody bike and somebody run?
I'm looking at 3 right here that participate in the relay.
Okay. I'll do the swim part. Okay, Jackie, you can do the bike part.
I'll do biking.
Okay,
there we go.
You're running.
Okay,
you're running.
We've heard it on.
Okay, so here's our team right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
This is so cool. Again, get signed up for this. We need to get online and get signed up when?
July 9th is when it opens up to the general public. So.
All right, Ironman.com/Des Moines 70.3, because that's what you have to get ready for. Literally less than a year from today.
Wow,
we're going to have something incredible coming. And of course, if people always want to find out all the amazing things that are happening in our community, there's one website they can always go to.
CatchDesMoines.com.
Boom.
Pretty
Thank you both for joining us today after a huge announcement that was made yesterday.
Yeah,
This is going to be
thank you.
incredible. We'll see you
in a year.
Less than a year.
Okay. We'll be ready then.
Absolutely. Yeah.